Rome is renowned for its buildings, for temples, theaters, and aqueducts, for stone that made power visible and promised endurance. Yet not everyone who shaped Rome did so through monumental facades. Some worked in the background, quietly, almost unseen. Vitruvius was one of them. No triumphal arch bears his name. No statue honors him in a public square. And yet, much of what we know about Roman architecture comes from his words. He built less with stone, he built with thought. Vitruvius lived in the 1st century before Christ, a time of profound transformation. The Roman Republic was approaching its end, while under Augustus a new order was taking shape. Vitruvius was no aristocrat, no senator, no celebrated artist. He was a professional, a trained military engineer in the service of Rome. He likely worked in the circle of Gaius Julius Caesar and later found recognition under Augustus. His career was practical. He designed machines, contributed to fortifications, and worked on water systems and technical construction projects. Vitruvius was not a visionary in the modern sense. He was a man of the system, a craftsman of the empire. Little is known about his private life. Yet between the lines of his work, a human figure emerges, one who struggled with the realities of his time. Vitruvius speaks of financial worries, of dependence, of the need to secure patrons. He was not a wealthy man. He relied on recognition. His great work was not only a manual, it was also an offering, a quiet request for security and dignity in old age. This openness makes him human and close to us. Whether Vitruvius himself created major buildings cannot be stated with certainty. No surviving structure can be clearly attributed to him. No inscription names him as architect. Yet his texts reveal experience. No one describes materials, statics, lifting techniques, and water management with such precision without having built himself. Vitruvius understood how stone behaves, how wood ages, how metal weathers. He was no theorist in an ivory tower. He was a practitioner. His knowledge was born of work, not speculation. His true construction is a book, 10 books, De Architectura. In it, Vitruvius presents architecture as a comprehensive discipline, a union of technique, knowledge, and responsibility. He formulates 3 principles that remain valid to this day: firmitas, stability; utilitas, usefulness; venustas, beauty. None may stand alone. A building that is beautiful but unstable fails. One that is stable but unusable fails as well. Architecture for Vitruvius is always balance. Particularly striking is Vitruvius's view of the human being. Buildings, he writes, must be based on the proportions of the human body, on harmony, on measure. The human being is not meant to submit to architecture. Architecture is meant to serve the human being. This idea was extraordinary for its time, and it continues to resonate today. Vitruvius also writes about temples with sober clarity. For him, they are not merely symbols of power, but places of order. Their orientation follows the path of the sun. Their proportions are calculated. Their materials are adapted to their location. Even in the sacred, Vitruvius thinks functionally. Cities, too, are viewed primarily from the perspective of health. Streets should be laid out according to prevailing winds to reduce disease. Clean water is more important than representative squares. Air circulation, light, and hygiene form the foundations of urban life. This is a remarkably modern way of thinking. Rome, Vitruvius believed, should not only rule, but be livable. Especially impressive is his knowledge of theaters. Vitruvius analyzes acoustics mathematically. He describes how sound moves, how the human voice is carried. For him, theaters are places of understanding. The voice stands at the center. Architecture is meant to protect and amplify the spoken word. Vitruvius devotes particular attention to water. He distinguishes spring water by quality, warns of harmful conduits, and observes the health effects of materials such as lead. For him, water is not a luxury, but the basis of life. Without water, there is no city. Without clean water, no civilization. Vitruvius believed in order, measure, and reason. Yet he was no idealist. He knew that architecture could be politically instrumentalized, that monuments demonstrate power, that buildings can impress and influence people. His work is therefore not a glorification, but a warning. Architecture carries responsibility. After his death, Vitruvius was forgotten for a long time. Only during the Renaissance was his work rediscovered. Scholars read his texts. Architects studied his principles. Leonardo da Vinci drew the famous human figure according to Vitruvian measure. Vitruvius became a bridge between antiquity and the modern world. Vitruvius did not understand architecture as an isolated art, but as a meeting point of many disciplines. An architect, he writes, must be knowledgeable in geometry, music, medicine, astronomy, and even philosophy. Not to master them all, but to recognize connections. To build is to intervene in the lives of others. To build is to shape behavior, movement, sight lines, and habits. Architecture is therefore never neutral. This idea becomes particularly clear in his writings on residential buildings. Vitruvius does not distinguish houses solely by wealth, but by function. The house of a senator must serve different purposes than that of a merchant or a craftsman. Rooms are not expressions of status alone, but of activity. Architecture should enable, not merely impress. Vitruvius examines materials with sober precision. He describes types of stone according to hardness and resistance to weather, wood according to age, moisture, and origin, bricks according to firing methods. Nothing remains abstract. Everything is tested, observed, classified. Beauty does not arise from disguise, but from appropriateness. Vitruvius was not opposed to monumentality. He understood the symbolic power of large structures, yet he warned against placing form above purpose. A building that betrays its function loses its dignity. Size without meaning is empty. His relationship to nature is equally striking. Vitruvius does not see landscape as an obstacle, but as a partner. Buildings should adapt to terrain, not the other way around. Climate, soil, water, and wind are not enemies, but conditions that must be understood. In this attitude lies an early concept of sustainability, long before the term existed. Vitruvius also speaks openly about mistakes, about wrong decisions, about buildings that failed because principles were ignored. Such openness is rare in ancient texts. It reveals a man who did not wish to lecture, but to pass on experience, knowledge, not dogma. In all this, a worldview emerges that seeks order, yet acknowledges complexity. Vitruvius believes in rules, but not in rigid formulas. Every city, every building, every place requires its own answer. Architecture is not imitation, but continual judgment. Vitruvius's thinking continues to resonate today precisely because it is not loud. His principles reappear in modern debates, often without his name being mentioned. Whenever human scale, functionality, and responsible building are discussed, his voice is present. In an age when architecture often becomes a symbol, Vitruvius reminds us that building always has consequences. For bodies, for movement, for daily life. Spaces shape people long before people reflect on spaces. Perhaps this is why Vitruvius never received a statue. His influence was not immediate. It was long-term, quiet, enduring. He did not write for applause. He wrote for those who would build after him, for people who carry responsibility without standing at the center, for professionals, not victors. Vitruvius was part of an empire, yet he thought beyond its duration. He knew that power fades, that stone decays, that even Rome would not last forever. This is why he sought to formulate principles that could endure beyond time. When his work was rediscovered during the Renaissance, it encountered a world in transition. Architects were searching for order, measure, and orientation. Vitruvius did not offer a style, but a foundation. He was not copied, but read, and in this lies his strength. To this day, the Architectura is not a book of answers, but a book of questions. What is appropriate? What serves humanity? What carries responsibility? Vitruvius himself remained in the background, yet his thoughts run through cities, universities, building codes and designs. Quietly, without inscription, without name, Rome fell, its walls became ruins. But the way it was built lives on, not as a monument but as an attitude. Vitruvius left no towers, no squares, no facades. He left measure, reason, and the idea that architecture is more than stone. He was not a loud voice, but one that endures.